Everybody, welcome to my latest addition to the CD collection. Let's get started. Now the first one is not the CD, but I thought I was still short. Master Ace, or should I say Master Ace, Take a Look Around, released in 1990 on Cold Chillin' under Reprise under Warner Brothers. You guys should know who Master Ace is. I already talked about his Sitting on Chrome, and I already talked about the collab album he did with MF Doom, the son of Yvonne. This is actually his very first album. You gotta love the 90s covers like that, you gotta love that shit. And other than that, this is a very dope album. I really love this album. I mean, it has like that. Every like Master Ace album kind of like has like a different vibe to it. I'm not gonna front, like this album has like the more 90s contemporary hip hop, while Slaughterhouse had that West Coast style. Sitting on Chrome had a more laid back like East West Coast fusion. Singles albums known for are Music Man, Me and the Biz, Together and Moving On. A little trivia about Me and the Biz. From what I read about that song, he originally wanted to have Biz Markie on the song, but I think Biz Markie couldn't make it. So Master Ace, he kind of like impersonated Biz Markie, like kind of like paid homage to him in a way. If you see the video to that song, Me and the Biz, you'll know what I'm talking about. Like, he'll have like a puppet. He'll be like, hey, it's a diabolical, and some shit like that. This is actually the 1995 reissue. That can explain why he says the best of Master Ace. And unfortunately, this album today is actually out of print. So if you guys can find this, please copy that. This is a very dope album. If I get a working cassette player or boombox, I'm gonna definitely review this album. So, Master Ace, Take a Look Around, to 1990, reissue 1995. The song that you're listening to, if you could hear it, is Pharoahe Monch's and Common's The Truth on the Internal Affair album, which I'm about to review, which I'm about to talk about in the next CD collection. This is Starr, the Ownerz, their last studio album together, released in 2003 on Version/EMI. Very underrated album. This album right here is underground hip hop at its finest. What I love about this album is like, you listen to this album, even though this album was released in 2003, it kind of has like that 90s kind of feel to it. Singles albums known for are Skills, Right Where You Stand featuring Jadakiss, Nice Girl Wrong Place, and Same Team No Games featuring NYGs and 8 Stacks. Very, very dope album, Excuse me. Just find a good song. It's alright, yeah. Like I said before, this album has, if you listen to this album and Moment of Truth are their most consistent albums, if you ask me, because the way that they still sound dope after all these years. Because most hip hop groups or rappers from the 80s, some of them, they drop like a recent album that kind of sound but this is a very, very dope album, a highly slept on album if you ask me. And you guys should know that this was actually the final studio album, because I believe Virgin Records dropped them for the label. and things like that. And you know, they got just some drama. So I'm not really gonna get into that right now. But this is Gangstar, the Ownerz, 2003. Pick it up. Speaking of Pharoahe Monch, this is his first solo album, Internal Affairs, released in 1999 on Ruckus Records. This album right here, whew. Wait, Ruckus under Priority under EMI, but this album is sick. It's very, very sick. I mean, look at that freaking album cover. That album cover is just grimy, dark. Singles, hold on, wait. Singles albums known for are, it only came out with like 2 singles, so Simon Says and The Light. And the video for Simon Says was directed by Busta Rhymes. You know, very, very dope song. Like, had songs like Behind Closed Doors, Queens, I love that song. Rape, very, very dark song right there. And it actually had like an organized he actually reunited with Prince Poe on the song God Send. Okay, so everyone knows this album is out of print, you know, because Simon Says using that Godzilla sample. And so I believe like Ruckus, like, they stopped selling it because I think they're about to get sued and stuff like that, you know. Other than that, like, and Pharoahe Monch, he didn't really want to record for Geffen Records. And I guess, and since it was out of print, he has been trying to reissue this album, you know. From what I heard, he's been trying to reissue this album since like a couple years back. So I actually got this off Amazon for like $13, and you're gonna see it for people sell it for like $20 something. Hey, I even saw it like for $30. So I won't really like. I mean, this is a very dope album, and you gotta expect like out of print albums like this to people always charge like huge money for that stuff like that. So Pharoahe Monch, Internal Affairs, 1999, out of print. Next album is Usher, the Confessions album, released in 2004 on Arista. Yeah, actually, this album right here is it's a classic album by many people. Very, very personal album. Singles I was on for are Yeah, featuring Lil Jon and Ludacris, which is a very, very big single back in 2004. Like, everywhere I went, that song was playing. Like, I can tell that song was. I mean, that song even still gets hyped today in clubs or on parties. Burn, Confessions Part 2, My Boo, featuring Alicia Keys, and Caught Up. This Confessions, man, this album is very, you know, a lot of people said that. A lot of people said that this album was based on his relationship with Chili, you know, things like that. And another thing about this album too, I think he didn't feel like working with the new producers on this album. That's why he mostly worked with Jermaine Dupri and things like that. So like, he had these new producers and like they put all these new sounds for Usher, you know. Like, the new sounds kind of benefited him in a way because there was like a variety of. This album was like more versatile. It had like party songs, slow jams, like introspective songs like that. So other than that, this album actually won a tons of awards. This album actually won tons of awards, like back in 04, 05, like on Grammys, Soul Train Awards, American Music Awards. So, Usher's Confessions, 2004, pick it up. Whitney Houston's The Bodyguard soundtrack, released in 1992. On Arista Records again. A lot of Arista Records I got here. I already reviewed the movie. I said it was a solid movie from the 90s. You know, this movie was very successful, and I think the soundtrack was more successful too. This is a very dope soundtrack. I actually like this soundtrack a lot. It had that nice blend of pop and R&B, with like dance tracks too. So singles I was known for are "I Will Always Love You," where Whitney killed that song, which was actually a cover of the Dolly Parton song, but every time people say "I Will Always Love You," they always associate that song with Whitney Houston. I don't blame them. What else? Someday I'm Coming Back by Lisa Steinfeld. I'm Every Woman, Whitney's cover of the Chaka Khan song. I Have Nothing, that song right there, I love that song. Run to You, Queen of the Night, and It's Gonna Be a Lovely Day by the Soul System. Believe it or not, this is actually the best-selling soundtrack of all time. Yes, the best-selling soundtrack. And also, like, it actually won a Grammy Award for Album of the Year. Actually won a Grammy for Album of the Year. And, you know, the 90s were a very successful time for Whitney Houston, you know. She was in movies, you know. She had successful albums. Like, she was on top of the game around that time. And, you know, it's a shame that we lost her so soon. Things like that. But anyway, if you're a fan of the movie, you'll most definitely love the soundtrack. I actually got this yesterday at the thrift store about like $1. So, Whitney Houston, various artists, Bodyguard soundtrack. Now we're gonna have an album from Whitney Houston's aunt. This is Dionne Warwick's Dionne, released in 1979 on Arista Records. I was shocked when I found this record because I didn't even know, like, my pops had this record. You know, I was like going digging last night, and I found Dionne Warwick's Dionne. I was like, oh snap, damn. Like, this is you guys know who Dionne Warwick is. R&B legend, you know. She influenced a hell of people in the game. You know. Like, this is a very, very dope album. This is actually a comeback album. And believe it or not, this is actually her best-selling album to date. Singles I'm known for are I'll Never Love This Way Again, The Letter, and Deja Vu. Like, I love that Deja Vu. Whew. Like, believe it or not, Isaac Hayes, he wrote that song. And Isaac Hayes wrote that song for her. Another thing too, like Barry Manilow, he actually produced this whole album. And I'm not the biggest fan of Barry Manilow, but the production on this record was nice. I'm not gonna front, you know. Dionne Warwick's Dionne. Like, this album is very, very good album right here. Like, you know, Dionne Warwick, she always had a very consistent career in music. Like, ever since the 60s, and she's still going strong today, to be honest. So, cop this album. And the last album I'm about to do is Michael Jackson's Invincible album, released in 2001 on Epic Records. This would be his final studio album to date. This album right here is a very underrated, another underrated album. Like, this album is very slept on, you know. Singles I'm known for are Speechless, You Rock My World, Cry, and Butterflies. Like, this album, what I love about this album, it has like a neo soul sound to it. Like, there's like a lot of songs that had that like neo soul sound, like Heaven Can Wait, Speechless, you know, stuff like that. And 2001 was like, you guys should have seen like the 30th anniversary special on, that was a very big special. Like, he reunited with the Jackson 5. You know, that was a, if you haven't seen that special before, check that special out. It's a very good special right there. Like, you can tell that he still had it. And the reason why this album is so underrated is because it suffered from little promotion. I don't know, the promotion, if it was promoted like good as like Thriller or Dangerous, it would have been like a more bigger album. But I believe this album actually, and like Michael Jackson, from what I read, like he actually called Tommy Mottola, the head of the promotion, he called him a racist because of the fact that if it was some other, if it was a white artist, he would have gotten better promotion. But hey, and what else about this album? Like, this album is very another thing I love about this album is like, it was very consistent. Like, he was like very like get into like some of the R&B at that time, because you know, like the year was 2001. People like Usher, R. Kelly was still had his, Joe, you know, people like that. They were still like on top of the game and things like that. And so Michael Jackson, he was just in a class by himself when he dropped this album. Like, I think a lot of people now are recognizing this album now ever since his death. But if you're a fan of like early 2000s R&B, if you're a fan of Michael Jackson, you'll most definitely love this album. Michael Jackson-Invincible, 2001. And that's all the time I have. Stay tuned for more. Peace.